who I am. Now if somebody would.
So have you ever been in a relationship where you found yourself, and you were like, I don't love the dynamic of this relationship?
Yeah, I get out quick.
You just get out quick.
Yeah. And when I see that the signs are there, I get out before it gets to the point where we don't like each other.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'll
make a nice dinner. I know it's so funny.
Have you?
But I do.
And you break up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that would crush. I wouldn't even know how to break up with somebody.
But you know what? They feel the same way too.
Yeah.
This is the thing. If when you're in alignment with someone, you're both feeling it.
Right.
And when you're not, you're both feeling it. And they might, it's always an ego thing for the person who is being broken up with. Right? Yeah. It's an ego thing. Well, how could you not? Well, I know this relationship isn't going anywhere, but how could you not want all this? How could you be the one to do? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
you can't reject me.
Yeah, but it's not even a rejection of the person. It's the relationship. It's not a compatible relationship.
Yeah.
So, and I always tell them that, it's not you, it's me. No,
right.
But it's not. It's the fact that you're not on the same frequency.
Yeah.
And why continue it just because the person is hot or because you have a great friendship? Mm-hmm. Like with my ex Carrie and I, we were together for 5 years, and you met him.
Oh yeah,
he's
I love
an
Carrie.
amazing guy. And at the time, we were driving around looking at houses to buy together, and we were at this intersection, and we both knew there was a lot missing in that relationship. Being a couple, we were such good friends. But we were more like brother and sister than a couple.
Right.
And so I remember we were at an intersection, and he turned to me and he's like, we started laughing because we both knew it. We were thinking the same thing, but he just came out and said what we were both thinking. And it was so great. We hugged, and then we went back and we told his mom. She's like, I need a drink. Oh my God. She was so upset.
Oh,
but we've maintained a really super close friendship since then. And that's the difference, we're all connected.
Yeah.
Right? And so just because someone, you don't feel like you want to be in a specific type of relationship with someone doesn't mean that they're not worthy.
Yeah, that you cut them out of your life.
You want to cut them out of their life, unless it's toxic.
Right.
Right. In which case, you just have to let that go.
And even that, though, there's lessons because we attract these experiences into our lives for reasons, right?
Absolutely.
To learn certain things.
These people are in our lives for a time.
That's right.
And your ex-husband, unfortunately, it wasn't great for you, but you have 7 beautiful children that are amazing
and there's so much I am so ironically, on this side of the healing, not in it, because in it I wanted to die.
Of course.
But on this side of it, I do have a tremendous amount of gratitude because I would never, ever have gotten to where I am as far as my relationship with myself without it being as extreme as it became, the dysfunction and the toxicity and the abuse and everything. So even though I can look back at that and go, whoa, I can't believe what I survived, the dominant feeling is gratitude. Right. So I have a different understanding of what soulmates means now.
Right.
To me, it's not the Hollywood version of things. To me, I very much believe my kid's dad is a soulmate because the lessons for me this time around and the things that I needed to see and learn about myself, he agreed to co-create that experience with me. So on the earth level of things and people looking in going, oh my God, I can't believe, what you went through, or the world, looks at my situation and says, because he had a baby with somebody else. So the world says, well, of course, you can leave him, you're totally off the hook. There's all that sort of narrative or messaging or, infidelity in general, even alcoholism and stuff. I had all of the reasons in the world to justify the leaving, but they were never reasons for me. Right. It was never enough for me because I didn't love myself enough yet. Right. So I stayed because I didn't feel worthy of anything more, of what real love really is, or that I mattered.
Right.
And so I would never, I laugh now at how extreme the situation had to be for me to go, wait a minute.
But I mean, you had a lot of moving parts as a businesswoman, as a mother, as a wife. Your time was completely filled with taking care of everyone else's needs. And so you didn't have time to even think about your own needs.
Not at all. And also with children.
Yeah.
Changes the game. You know, you don't. And also I was raised with the messaging that you stay. You stay through everything, through thick and thin and through hard times and good times. And that is true. You do not stay through emotional abuse.
Right.
That's the differentiator.
Right.
Right. You don't stay when you're being mistreated continuously. Right. So I had those wires crossed. Right. So, so just coming out of it now and having a different perspective, I have so much gratitude. And I'm also I'm grateful for the gratitude because, and one of my friends said to me, because they have a friend, somebody they know in their life, that's going through a similar situation that I went through. And she just hasn't been able to let go. This person is still stuck. Yeah. I think it's been years and years and years and she's still stuck. And so he asked me over lunch, he said, how did you do it? Like, how did you come to the place that you are? And I said, there was one driving thought, because I still wasn't enough. The one driving thought for me was, I have to find a way to heal through this and make peace with this, because I don't want this to be a thing for my children for the rest of their lives. For me, the idea that they would be wanting to propose to somebody or a wedding or a baby's coming, and then the next thought is, oh my God, can mom and dad be in the same room together? That was what I never wanted. Right. I never wanted that. So even still, it was the thought of my children that pulled me through. Right. Even it wasn't. I mean, I learned that I mattered, that right? On them. But it was way more about them, and my love for them was what pushed me to get through the hard stuff and figure out myself and to heal. And the love for yourself. And, seeing that you had to leave that situation is going to make them respect you more and realize that they need to put themselves first. Yeah. Too. Yeah. And we all need to put ourselves first, because if you're happy, then you can make other people happy. 100%. And we are not taught that as women. No. As mothers, as wives, forget it. That is not the messaging. No. The messaging is not put yourself first. No. So it felt so selfish. Yeah. And so now with this sort of new relationship with myself, the idea of going into a relationship with somebody else, because I have a very clear sense now of what I will accept, what I will not accept. And I already know that. So I feel like if I was going to sit down with somebody, it was like, okay, here's the do's and don'ts. Right. Like I already know all of this. So like, let's not waste any time. Are you cool with this? And if you're cool with this, okay, let's go for coffee. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Yes. And it sounds like that's what you do. Yes. Yeah. It sounds like you're very clear. I know how to please myself. Right. I don't need somebody else to come into my life to please me. I'm not looking for someone to complete me or please me or do things for me. Right. I can already do that for myself. Yeah. I just want someone to come in that is, and someone who's complimenting that. Right. And likes to have fun and enjoy life. We're on this earth to have joy. Yeah. To find joy. I mean, there's so much garbage around us. We can take that all in and bring the rest of the vibration of the earth down with it. Yeah. Or we can be the light that raises that vibration. Yeah. So it's our choice of what we want to do. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Best date memory and best and worst dates. Do you have any? You probably don't have any worst dates because you seem to have this
bad dates.
Really?
From when I was younger.
Okay.
When I was younger, I had
okay. Worst. Go. You can start with the best date or the worst date, whichever one.
Start with the worst one because this is kind of funny. I mean, it's so funny what guys think is acceptable, what girls want to hear. It was, I don't know, maybe it was the 5th date with this one guy, and I really liked him a lot. Okay. And so we're sitting at the Courtyard restaurant outside, and it's a candlelight dinner, and he's holding my hand. And he's looking into my eyes, and I'm thinking he's going to say something really sweet. And he's like, Katharyn, I really like you a lot, and I'm really hoping that this relationship works out. And I just want you to know I'm trying really hard not to sleep with other women.
He did not.
He did.
Oh.
And he was with a straight face. And I was just, I really don't know what to say to that. You totally caught me off guard.
Big gold star.
How's that working for you? Is that working okay?
Oh, are we supposed to not sleep with other people?
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Oh.
Best date.
So, okay, so what did you do? You said, see you later, I'm not,
Oh,
or like
yeah.
you're done? Okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't right away.
Right.
I kind of laughed it off, and
Right.
I assumed that he was joking.
Right.
To this day, who knows?
Boys.
But the best one, there's so many great dates. I mean, now I have no complaints anymore.
Yeah.
But I think maybe the best one was when I was 21, and friends set me up with someone, and our first date, he drove me to Vermont. We went for dinner in Vermont.
On the first date?
On the first date, and then drove back home.
What?
Like that night. We didn't stay over.
Oh my gosh.
We had dinner at this really beautiful place.
Oh, so cool.
In Stowe, Vermont.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And it was just a really special place to him,
yeah.
and that's why?
And
okay.
we both love the same types of music.
Right. And
he-
you're such a foodie, so you would have loved that.
Totally
Yeah.
a foodie. And the music that he was playing in the car, and we just talked the whole time. We talked. And
So were you ever
wonderful.
frightened at any point?
I wasn't with him. I
like
wasn't
the
at
whole crossing a border into
No.
another country?
No, and I think
With a
because-
total stranger?
Well, I think because we were introduced by a
Oh,
mutual
that
friend,
actually
too.
makes really good sense. Yeah.
So I felt very, and he was really personable and fun, and he was very charming. And
Okay.
I ended up getting engaged to him. It was, yeah.
Really? I did not know that piece.
I did. We were together for maybe 5 years.
Oh, wow. And so what happened?
Yeah. Well, that's a long story.
Oh my gosh.
know.
I did not know that about you. Next hair appointment.
Yeah.
Next hair appointment is October.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So like, even when I'm listening to you talk about dates, I'm like, okay, so I have a couple questions. Who pays?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Right? These are the things that go through my head when I think about dating. These are the things that cause me anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Who pays?
So they are usually the ones that ask me
Right.
first. So I let them pay.
Okay.
There were times, many times, when I would always want to pick up the bill.
Right.
And what I found was it can be very demasculating for a man.
Yeah. It's like a thing.
Yeah.
So,
especially if you're a successful woman,
right?
then and you don't want to take that away from them. Now, the younger generation is different, I think, but I think with our generation of men that we're dating, we have to be careful with things like that. You can do other things for them. You can make dinner, or you can buy them a gift or whatever. But I find I was always way too generous, and it kind of put them off.
Instead of it being seen as generosity,
Right.
it was seen as, I can see that. An insult, but not quite an insult, but it's just a little like, off-putting a bit.
Well, because then they don't really know where they stand.
Right.
And, if you're doing that, then you're taking control.
Right.
And I think it's seen that way with women. It doesn't mean that that I still can't be generous.
Right.
Because I love to give.
Right.
But I think I just went overboard a little bit.
But what does it mean now when you let the person pay? Does
that give them rights, you mean?
Right.
No.
Okay, so that's clear now out there in the world that it's not right.
This is worth way more than dinner.
Good. Happy to hear we've reached that place in society. That's good. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I could see like that would be weird for me. Who's going to pay?
Yeah.
Also, too, like the choosing the place you go on a first date and the signal that sends. So, like, and I think you told me this before. Just go for coffee. first. Coffee first. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to
middle
go
of the
for
day
drinks
coffee.
first.
Yeah.
Because then you lower your inhibitions a little bit, and then the date that should maybe only last an hour or two, or 2
Right.
hours can go into like an all-nighter.
Right.
That's happened to me before, where it was supposed to just be just a drink.
Right.
And it was just going to be an after work thing. And then it ended up into dinner, and then after dinner drinks. And we got along. Like, we had a great conversation.
Which is a good problem to have. So you're
Yeah.
not like looking for the door and trying to get out.
Definitely. I mean, there was no chemistry.
Right.
There was no chemistry, but we enjoyed each other's company, and that was it. And we never really called each other back after that.
Right.
But
But it was a nice time for what it was.
Sure.
You just knew right away that there was no chemistry. Yeah. So so coffee first, or something that has a beginning and an end. I like that it has a defined beginning and an end. That will help me.
During the day too, like a lunchtime thing, or that makes it really easy, a lot easier, because then you have somewhere to go after. You have to be somewhere. Yeah. And then you don't tend to do that. And also, when you're starting to date someone, if it's someone that you're really interested in, don't always make it an evening thing.
Right.
That has to be like the end of the night. What happens?
Right.
Do the daytime, or let's meet for breakfast before.
Yeah.
Or even what I like to do too sometimes is meet them for breakfast or meet them for coffee in the morning before work, and then meet them after, because you have that whole day to kind of flirt over text before you meet up for dinner, and that kind of prolongs
You're like the
whole
queen
thing
at this.
too.
You should write a book. You should have a series on YouTube, just how to get people through dating, and these little tips are phenomenal.
It's fun.
It is.
When you look at it, just getting to know someone, and sometimes with one person that I dated many years ago, I was 18, 19, we ended up dating for a very long time, and he was Lebanese. He was from Kuwait, and he sponsored some friends to come and live in Canada.
Nice.
And so the first was a family of 4, and he and his brother lived in the same apartment building that I lived in, and I had a 2-bedroom, and they had a 2-bedroom, but my second bedroom was empty.
Right.
So these people came to live in my place.
Okay.
Because he didn't have enough room.
So you, come people of the world, and come live with me.
I know, I loved it. But it was great for me, because I thought, they don't speak a word of English. I don't speak any Lebanese. Right. We're going to teach each other. This is going to be fun. Right. So they taught me how to speak Lebanese, and they taught me how to sing and make the food, and we were... we taught each other. I taught them English, and they taught me Arabic, and it was so fun. And then we did it twice after that. Yeah. So
that's so incredible, and that really speaks to who you are as a person, because not a lot of people. Most people would probably feel apprehensive about something like that, or just their own space and not quite sure. And but I love the way that you look at life, and I love that you find a way to make everything fun. Like, what is the fun side? Yeah. And fun is something that I'm learning. And I think because of, and it's amazing how sexual abuse as a child defines so much of your life, and just the dynamic of the family I grew up in. I never really learned to have fun. Yeah. I was very serious all the time. I felt serious, and I was like a high stress individual, and always trying to, be the best at everything that I was doing, whatever the activity was. Yeah. It wasn't about the fun. It was about being the best at it, because I was seeking to be loved and to be approved, and to be, to have that feeling of
worthy,
acceptedness, and worthy, and that I matter. So it was very much just like, if I'm going to play piano, I'm going to be the best piano player. I'm going to ride horses, I'm going to be the best at that. If I'm in school, I'm going to be the school president and valedictorian. Like I was just wired that way, because I understand now that it was like, do you see me now? Do you love me now? Yeah. Am I lovable now? Am I enough now? Yeah. So fun, even the idea of fun, I'm just getting used to. Yeah. Like the idea of play and fun, and just like that has always been uncomfortable for me. Yeah. Because I never felt the world was safe enough to let my guard down, to just have fun. Right. So when I hear you talking about, looking at dating as something fun, it takes all the pressure off. Yeah. The way that you frame it, because then it's just getting to know somebody and going to have a fun activity, and that I can get on board with all day long. That's so much easier. It's the weight of all the other expectations, and what does it mean, and where's it going to lead, and I don't have any of those answers. Right. So that's where the weight comes from for me. So keeping it fun and focusing on fun is probably how I'm going to survive it or get through it.
I think so. And just getting out there and doing it, and going out and just making it. It can be very, very light. Yeah. And it should be in the beginning. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're going to be on speed dial for me too. Everybody that's coming to talk to me about this, I'm going to have you all on speed dial and be like, okay, I'm not having fun. I need to be rescued. I'm at this restaurant. Come find me.
I would.
Yeah, I know you would be there for a second. So thank you for being beautiful, you. And thanks for coming here today.
Thanks, Sarah.
It's been another T.A.R.A. Sessions. Thanks so much for tuning in.
know who I am.